a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the viaduct looms like a bird of doom as it ships and cracks.
I think we're gonna prolong this discussion and just say thanks for calling, Elia.
If you don't mind, I'd like to ask a question and make a comment.
Sure.
I thought it was interesting because I saw Atheist community and so forth on the banner behind, and I thought it was kind of funny because if you guys don't believe in God and that's the topic of the show, then it's funny because that's almost like saying we don't believe in unicorns, and every week or every month we're going to have a show about it, you know? So,
right.
Which would be extremely useless, except for the fact that we live in a world where the vast majority of people actually do believe in unicorns, and not everybody tunes in, every week.
I haven't met a lot of people who do believe in unicorns.
I was using that as an analogy for God.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And one last comment you said earlier. You said something like, "Is there anybody that would die, for me, or if they would, go to hell for me? I don't know anybody that would." There is one person who actually did die for you and did go to hell for you, and his name is...
I'm not going to buy that as an answer, because if you're going to say Jesus Christ, then he went to hell for 3 days, and after that he got to live in an eternity, for an eternity in heaven, as the ruler of the universe. So when it comes to sacrifices,
yeah, I mean, how's that much of a sacrifice? I mean, at least when Elvis died for my sins, he stayed dead.
Hey, I don't know many people that would roll up their sleeves and put their hands in a whole bunch of doo-doo for you, but I know one man who did.
Well, how do you know that he did? Because there's no evidence. There is
evidence. It's documented historically.
Really?
And,
where?
Yeah.
Where?
I mean, plenty of things. If you go to the land, that the Bible talks about, there are places. It's almost like...
What land is that?
You're reading... I mean... Every biblical place in the Bible is documented as...
And New York is a real place, but that doesn't mean Spider-Man's real.
Yeah, but that's different. Like, basically you have
how is
40
it different?
It's different like this. If 40 people witnessed a car accident and they're all giving their version of it...
No, the Bible wasn't written by eyewitnesses.
It was written by people that... They didn't have the resources that we have today. Just because today we do things differently, the word of mouth spreads differently there. People didn't have the resources that we do today.
I don't understand why that's relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, if you look at the Bible, the story of Jesus as it's represented in the Bible, you've got a number of claims, a virgin birth, a ton of miracles, this death and resurrection thing, and all of it is, at best, hearsay. It's a translation of a copy of hearsay of hearsay of hearsay. There's no first person accounts. There's no contemporary evidence that Jesus ever existed, and the Bible's full of historical errors. When you take a look at the Gospels, you've got Luke putting Jesus' birth at the time of Quirinius, and Matthew putting it at the time of Herod. Now there's a whole decade in between.
Same circumstance. If somebody was reporting a car accident, some people would alter little. Say, "Oh, I saw it like this," and another person will say, "I saw it like that." But the main theme or the main thing of the accident would still be the same, with minor details different.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if you had a car accident where one person was reporting that it was in Detroit and one person was reporting that it happened in San Francisco, you might wonder whether those people actually really saw the same car accident.
Well, let me ask you this.
And I mean, there are passages in the Bible where one gospel says that Jesus showed up in a completely different city from another gospel.
Well, the same thing would happen if you passed away and your friends were talking about your life and saying, "Oh, I remember when he was like this," and one friend would remember it a certain way, and
yes, but none of my friends
another certain way.
But none of my
I remember that night, but he might have some of the details.
None of my friends are going to claim that I rose from the dead or walked on water. Just because
but they might remember things like you wrote a book and you did this and you did that.
So what?
So the things that you did do, they would recall and speak proudly of the things that you did.
Hang on, I had to put you on hold because we have a problem with the mics where you can't hear over it. I'll bring you right back. There's a difference between accepting secondhand hearsay, testimonial, anecdotal evidence for mundane things, like he wrote a book or he said good morning to me every day. And then, there's a difference between that and accepting this anecdotal testimonial evidence for he fed 5,000 people with a few loaves and fishes or rose again after being dead. Those situations are not equal. You have to have more evidence. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And when we're talking about Jesus, outside of the Bible, which none of it is written by any eyewitnesses, there is no contemporary account that the guy even existed at all. And when you've got a situation where there's no confirming evidence, the Bible gets historical facts wrong, and it makes extraordinary claims, then there's insufficient justification to believe it. And in reality, you're only believing it because you want to believe it.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back on? Okay. Yeah. It's not so much that, like, how can I put into words what I want to say? You said something about how it's not historical, or that he might not have even existed.
Right, and you
it's so
said,
strange to me how that could be possible.
You know why?
He didn't. What?
You know why it's strange to you? Because you haven't bothered to research it. You came on early on saying that this was all historical stuff and it's verified, and all you need to do is go to the land that the Bible talks about.
Absolutely. Do you see exactly where Jesus walked and the things that he did?
No. You're not understanding. Those are claims you're making, and none of them are true. You haven't bothered to research this. What you've done is you've accepted claims from the pulpit. People will tell you this is all historically verifiable, when in fact, none of it is. Yes, you can go to the land where people say that he walked, but there's no evidence there that it actually happened. And there's certainly no evidence that somebody died and rose from the dead.
Historically, there is in other documentations.
No, there's not. I'm sorry. I mean, if all you're going to do is keep asserting that there is, and I'm going to keep telling you that there isn't, then we're going to get nowhere. And what I'd actually recommend you do is read a book on history, read some ideas from people who don't necessarily support your preconceived notions. Read some stuff by Robert M. Price on the historicity of Jesus. Hell, go to Wikipedia and look up the historicity of Jesus. Try and call me back in a week, email me, whatever. Provide any single contemporary account, contemporary with when Jesus was supposed to live, that mentions him at all or anything he did. You won't be able to find it, I guarantee you. All these Christian scholars and apologists have been looking for this for the last 2,000 years. They've been unable to find it. But if you do, I'll let you come in and sit next to me on the show and tell it to everybody. Because it just doesn't happen. It's not there. Now, I'm not saying the guy didn't exist. There may, in fact, have been somebody who existed named Jesus. May have been an itinerant rabbi, for all I know. But when you start making claims about this is all historically verifiable, and if you just go to the land and you just do the research, it's simply not true. You're spewing out misinformation that you've been fed in order to prop up a lie that you believe. You have to come with better evidence than, oh, yes, it is. It just doesn't work that way. Last week, there were some folks who called in because evidently I was being mean, because I'm wont to be mean on occasion.
Sometimes.
But they only called in to tell our call screener that we were mocking God and that we were going to hell, and then they'd hang up and they didn't want to go on the air to talk about it. And while I was pretty forceful earlier with Elia with regard to making bald assertions about things that simply aren't true or haven't been demonstrated, I don't want anybody to think that I was being particularly mean or personal. What we're talking about there are beliefs and ideas, and I have no problem with Elia at all as a person, and we're welcome to have all kinds of discussions. And she can call back anytime she wants and talk about more, or email. But I don't want to keep spinning wheels.
Right. Well,
Jesus existed. Well, prove it. It's just true. Well, prove it. Well, if you just look, prove it. You get nowhere that way.
Zombies. Where the fuck are all the zombies? That's the trouble with zombies. They're unreliable. I say if you're going to buy the angel bullshit, you might as well go for the zombie package as well.